It's been several days since Sunday. It's been several days since this weekend. Memorial Day was Monday. It was just Tuesday. Right now, I'm recording this May 29th. Good Wednesday, everybody, when this premieres. It is midnight 03. I don't know if you noticed on social media. If you follow me, you should. I've been very vocal specifically about this weekend. I mean, I was originally planning to do a reaction of the whole week. AEW Double or Nothing was really awesome. I couldn't enjoy it completely. Something was broken in my heart. Someone's bothering in my mind. I was going to talk about my watch party coming up, but I think I'll save that for later. All eyes, hearts, minds, ears, everything should be on Rafah. All eyes on Rafah right now. Now, if you don't know, which breaks my heart if you don't know, it pisses me off too. By the way, um, this is I'm gonna pray for it too, but I might curse. There might be graphic imagery in this episode. Fair warning ahead time. I'll do the whole thing where you need to click uh that thing saying you're old enough to watch or whatever. It's just a lot to unpack as usual, but even more now. Um I was a little nice. I was going to do this way sooner, but I was way too emotional. And I think I was just trying to get through the week, trying to just collect myself and thoughts. I don't like reacting when I'm really, really emotional, especially when I have to do this and present stuff to you guys and share, pieces of my life, my thoughts, my opinions, my beliefs, my experiences. And so when the lie of 40 beheaded babies hit the news and was promoted for so long, even after it was officially debunked, that bothered me. I was away on vacation, so I missed all the anger, the hatred, and the rage because the next time when I first heard of it, it was briefly. It was disturbing. It was shocking. I couldn't even process it. I was in disbelief. But then the next day, when I was able to check back on it, because on my vacation I had bad Wi-Fi, I just said some prayers, hoped everything was all right, and I thought it was answered. When I found out they couldn't confirm it, and then I was coasting. I was like, "Oh, good, it was a lie." Then I got more information of what was going on, because I like to, check out what's going on in the world. I like to do my best to be up to date, my due diligence of knowledge and awareness, as we all should, more than ever. We should. Um, I saw the bombings and attacks on Palestinian civilians in Gaza, attacks in West Bank, where there's no excuse of Hamas there, but they still attack them and hurt them anyways. And that's when I started realizing a whole bunch of truths. When I started investigating, I started seeing a whole bunch of truths. But the amount of rage for the lie of 40 beheaded babies was promoted all over, and didn't take until Bessem Youssef was on um probably screw up his name, my apologies, Bessem. But when Bessem was on Piss Morgan's show, his show censored. It's not really called that, but I'm calling it that now. When he called them out on the lie of 40 beheaded babies, and the host said, "I didn't say that." He said, "You didn't say it? Ben Shipperrow didn't say it. So and so didn't say it." And they're like, "No, nobody said it." Boom, huge lie right there, because so many people were saying it as why people were going to war with Hamas, and then that all the civilian casualties that's building up is acceptable because that's just what happens in war. Yeah, children die, big deal. I heard that so many times as a defense as to when I asked, it's like, why isn't this wrong? Attacking civilians is wrong, but attacking civilians was apparently justified because of an attack on civilians on the other side, which was fabricated up the yin yang. That was enough to get people riled up to justify the slaughter. And the slaughter continued, it continued, it continued. And I was calling it out as soon as I could. Using my platform, losing some followers, gaining more followers. What do you do? I don't really care. I want the truth out. I want to help the truth because there's too much of idiotic propaganda that people are buying into, and this propaganda entertains people's prejudice, people's ignorance, people's hatred towards Arabs, hatred towards Muslims, the Islamophobia, the xenophobia, um all that racist stuff that people are like, oh, I'm so tired of it, I hear it all the time. No, people like that are the privileged motherfuckers. Yes, I'm gonna have to pray for this, yes, but because you don't understand when it actually happens. There's a reason why it needs to be addressed sometimes. Yes, I understand a cry. What is it? The cry wolf. False accusations. I understand false accusations. Social media dramatic drama queen bullshit in like fandoms. I know all about false accusations and how that's stupid. But that doesn't change the fact that the wolves are out there. You know, you can cry wolf and make it a lie. No one will believe you, but it doesn't change the fact that wolves are out there. There is prejudice, there's hatred, there's racism, and it all is used and utilized by corporations and governments to fuel enough hatred so that people will turn a blind eye and encourage any funding into slaughtering innocent people, which is exactly what's happening and what has been happening. There's a reason why so many of us are pissed off because we did our homework. We're not letting someone else do our homework for us. We're not letting someone else tell us what's going on, and that person being the one who's funding the genocide. Because now, this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, before I get into this weekend, you've been seeing my show, right? I went over the proof and testimony from an IOS soldier of beheading babies. We've already known this to be true because when this all was starting out, there was a lot of footage coming out from Eye on Palestine, Middle Eastern Eye, Al Jazeera, Motaz, a lot of things he was posting. Um, a lot of stuff were getting taken down. But before they got taken down, a lot of people saw what was going on. Beheaded babies, but Palestinian. But no, the evidence got taken down real quick. Meta works really fast like that. And seeing that, knowing that, but then no one believing you, or not enough people believing you. Seeing is believing, right? So, anyways, I've addressed this on my channel, on my series, my podcast series here, that they have been beheading babies, that they have been aiming at children, that they have been targeting civilians, and they are relentlessly killing them. I've shown you quotes, statements from the Israelis, government officials, and politicians that they're justified in killing men, women, and children because they're all Hamas, they're all filthy, they're all animals, worse than animals apparently, and subhuman, and they just aim to kill as many as they can, and they celebrate it as well. We get a lot of this information from the Israeli side because they are celebrating the slaughter and killing and abuse of the Palestinian people. Okay, they're looking at the whole demographic as all Hamas, all terrorists, filthy and bugs, and just kill them all. They've been doing it for a while. This is not new. But to our Western world and our ignorant civilians here in America, where we champion truth, justice, and freedom. But only, I guess, if you're on the right side of the road and if you're a particular color and of faith. If you're not, then fuck you. They'll kill you and take your land, take your home. I don't give a shit about you. I don't give a shit about me. And that's a harsh reality that will challenge the people in the bubbles of comfort. Because now there's photographic video witness proof of beheaded babies, slaughtered civilians. Still, there's more proof of that constantly. But where's the outrage? There's no fucking outrage. And that's eye-opening, big time. Now, I've been trying to compose myself and also be patient to see if the Western media and Western people I know, how they would react, if they would even care. But no, I got nothing. We do get a little bit, but it's dumb excuses. So looking back at the bias of reaction from one group of people and the other. Oh, it's the racism and prejudice is there. It's like passive or aggressive, but it's there. There's no outrage for the Palestinian people. Why? Because you've already labeled them terrorists? Because you already labeled this as a war and you're okay with it? There's like a definitive line. You're either against an apartheid new Nazi regime that is the state of Israel that gives no equal rights to the Palestinians and abuses them, kills them, slaughters them, kills children, and celebrates it. They are actively doing a genocide that our government denies because our government denies it because our government is funding it. They have a lot of interest in the future of profiting from the end of this genocide when they kill all the Palestinians, and then they could remake Gaza however they want. Okay, we are against that genocide and we are here for the Palestinian people. None of us are terrorists. We're here for human rights and the Palestinian people. That's my side. If you're not on that side, you are justifying the slaughter of innocent men, women, and children and beheading of children. Burning people alive. That's what happened this weekend. Or if you're neutral and you don't care, you're still on the Israeli side. That Israeli terrorist side that has been lying to America, using America and manipulating the people of America just to suck everything out from us, just to benefit them. They don't give a shit about us. Yet we're so loyal to them. Why? And then they do the actual terrorist stuff that they claim that the Palestinians do, the stuff that they claim that's wrong in Gaza, that all of them are terrorists and they're doing all these atrocities that Israel is actually doing on a daily basis. What the fuck? This shit has been known for a while. And it's getting worse. People are burned alive in tents. I don't have this video to show you. Maybe I'll look it up for where I found it. But this boy was crying for his father who is in a tent burning alive to death. I've seen so much. And I don't know what that means of me as a type of person where it always is shocking. I'm not used to it. I don't want to get used to it. I want this to end. Our government is funding a fucking genocide on a whole demographic of people And it makes no sense at all to me. And all we get is a bunch of excuses. How many times does our government say when the press asks them that they're talking with Israel? They're investigating on it. They're letting Israel investigate. You're letting the government that spews propaganda, that slaughters innocent men, women, and children as a fucking hobby. You're letting them investigate what they did wrong? Oh my gosh. Or what happened? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you some clips and stuff. Just bear in mind, these are graphic.
لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. يا شباب يا عم سيبنا من التصوير. يا الله يا الله. لا حول ولا قوة. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. شيلوا معاه يا عم شيلوا يا عم. حسبي الله ونعم الوكيل. فرج عالم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. فرج يا عالم فرجوا. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل. فرج يا عالم. فرج يا عالم. مين هذا؟
I have no idea if I have to take that part out. I'll do what I must, but I have a blurred version. Blah. And then silence. You know, I cover a lot of I said this before, of all the, superhero content I'm a fan of, and movies and stories of adventure, heroes conquering evil. And I discuss all this nerdy, geeky stuff in the video games I play, even as violent as they are, there's a story, there's a sense of right and wrong, and then everyone knows it. But then when it hits reality, why is everyone numb? This is a crisis. Or is it because, do you not care because they're in a different country? They're not yours? They're not like of your people or whatever? We are all fucking human here. We should care because this is on our dollar. All the money that could go to our schools, our education, helping the homeless issues, helping build our roads, helping our infrastructures, helping our businesses, helping our community. I'm in California. They take almost like 60% of everything I make and earn to kill children in another country. Just so a whole racist demographic of people can be like, oh my gosh, I feel safe. I feel safe. You know what the safety really is? This safety. Israeli person right here who is a Zionist racist. I'll paint this picture. They walk into an area and there's a bunch of Palestinians here, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I feel so unsafe. I'm scared. Oh, they're surrounding me." All right, I'll paint a better picture for you. Okay, demographic A and demographic B. I'll let you fill in the gaps right there. So demographic A, fill it in whoever you want. Demographic B has to be someone totally different. All right. So demographic A walks into an area. Demographic B is just not surrounding, but they're all over. Imagine it's like, a grocery store, a little market filled with demographic B. Demographic A walks in and they all of a sudden feel very uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, demographic B is here. Here's what's going to do. America's like, here, defend yourself. Give them a weapon, shoots everybody. And they're like, oh my gosh, that's so much better. Now that we killed demographic B, demographic A feels so much safer. Oh my gosh. That sounds stupid, right? That's unfortunately the reality that's going on right now. I've seen the videos, the horrible video of a half naked woman in the back of a pickup truck being driven off with a bunch of individuals there. They claim them Hamas, but none of them have the Hamas gear. I'm not sure if that's true. And they have odd subtitles in it. Harming women is against Islam. And it's usually the mobs and the governments and the fanatic groups of people that use a religion to attack one person. And so you cannot just blame the religion alone for that, unless the religion does call for killing, which if you know you know the Quran, just like you know the Bible and the Torah, it's love thy neighbor all around. But the point is, that video of those people doing that to that woman, those guys are all guilty. Those guys should face punishment. Do you punish the whole demographic that you think those people belong to, or that those people belong to? Imagine, again, another demographic example. One demographic, let's say one person of one demographic, uh, goes into a grocery store and shoots everybody up who's of another demographic and then leaves. And then you want justice. So wouldn't you go after the killer? But instead, you remember the killer's demographic and you go out and you kill that whole demographic in that area. You're like, okay, we got him. That's what's going on. Is that right? Is that God's chosen people? Now, since this time, the evidence of beheaded babies and cruel slaughter of human beings has been caught, especially at this time where the awareness, more and more people are doing their homework, which doesn't take long. If you watch my videos, I explain it. Then find out what's actually going on. More and more people are catching up, because what our government and the genocidal freaks are doing is that they're backpedaling. They're backpedaling very desperately because they're running out of time. I want these arrest warrants ASAP. People who do crime should be sent to jail for life. I don't care if they're our presidente or other leaders. I don't know. Presidente is too cool. I'm not going to say that. Sorry. Our idiotic president, he should go to jail and throw away the key. Like, oh, he's too old to stand trial. Well, he's also, if that is the case, and why is he he's definitely not too old to kill people and to fund it and to lie about it too. And it's just disgusting. But let's hear, I got a little clip here of the, oh wait, before we go to clip, I have to show you this. So here's actual clips of real beheaded babies. Lebanon, 1996. Gaza, 2024. This weekend. And about the attack. So what happened is it was an airstrike, and it killed a bunch of people. And they said it was, well, you're gonna hear it.
We went after two Hamas commanders responsible for many attacks in Judea and Samaria and Gaza, but predominantly Judea and Samaria. They were drenched in Israeli blood, these two individuals. According to initial reports, a fire broke out after the attack. These terrorists were hiding underground, and it would appear that there were civilian casualties. We're looking into this. That it was definitely grave. Any loss of life, civilian life, is grave, and is is awful. We seek to go after Hamas and limit civilian casualties, and we will investigate if an investigation is needed. This is an unfolding story.
Wow. Did you hear the pot? Ooh. So we'll investigate if an investigation is necessary. And every limit civilian lives lost? Limit. They intend that to kill civilians. That's what we've seen. But by his words, limit. So they expect that civilians' lives will be lost. They just don't want to do too much. And they had reason to believe they threw out some names there. So here's the crazy thing. If you determine Rafah is a safe zone, and then you got all the people from north coming down to Rafah, and then you're like, oh no, Hamas is there. Let's bomb that spot. That's super sketchy as hell. The fact that they have to investigate on how this happened and why it was so messy is complete bullshit to me. Because they've said this before and other things, but only when it hit news waves enough. The other stuff that has been bad, they just kind of brush it off and said it's necessary, or blame the 6-year-olds that they killed as saying that they were Hamas operatives. And so here's another lie from Milkowski.
ברפיח כבר פינינו כמיליון תושבים בלתי מעורבים. ולמרות המאמץ העליון שלנו שלא לפגוע בבלתי מעורבים, קרתה לצערנו אמש תקלה טרגית. אנחנו חוקרים את המקרה, אנחנו נסיק את המסקנות.
So it went from like they had 2 Hamas leaders that they're going after, and then now it's like a mistake. And this is all a lie, because also what we saw was Israelis celebrating this Rafah massacre.
ثلاثة مفتحين صغار صغار أي زبوة يا ضمير أي انسانية وين العالم وين الأمة قرارها كاذب هاي مضايلين بقتلوا.
So I'm used to seeing Israelis of that type. Now, not all Israelis are for this genocide. As you've seen also on my channel, there's a lot of Israelis protesting and doing what they can to end the genocide. See, I don't believe in collective punishment. I don't believe that people are bad based on their faith. I don't believe people are bad based on their ethnicity, their gender, where they're from. People are bad based on their actions. Of course, there's some beliefs that are, or you could say some faiths are bad, like Satanism. But I don't think that's a faith. I think that's hatred. Calling it a faith is just giving it too much credit and excusing it or allowing it. Not in my book. That's not faith. Faith is always generally always actually a place for good. So it's people's actions that define them. If I do something, it's not going to, I'm white and Sri Lankan, right? So if I do something, it's not going to reflect every single white person. If I do something, it's not going to reflect every single Sri Lankan person. You know what I'm saying? My town is LA. If I do something, it's not going to reflect all of LA. I could probably represent, but it's still my actions, you know? So this disgusting government that's in power and the people that enjoy using their what is it? Their given privileges that stomp on other people. That's their actions. And it's disgusting. And they're celebrating it. Check out this scene from a little holy gathering. So you have people in a place of worship celebrating a rag doll imitating a hung person with a lot of Palestinian references on it. That's freaking disgusting. And that's who patriotic Americans are supporting. That's who many evangelical churches are supporting. Which is weird to me as a Christian. Used to be. When any of you who are Christian, how do you worship another faith that you don't practice above your own? That part I don't understand. How, or not only that, but how do you get behind one Zionist group or a group of people? Or, you know what? I don't think you even know what they do. Those of you who profoundly support the terrorist state of Israel, like, what do you do? Do you just turn a blind eye? Do you just ignore it? Do you just assume they're all Palestinians doing it to themselves? Like, what are you okay with? At this point, it's pathetic. Unless you yourself are a disgusting piece of shit as well. That could be it. Some people could be passively a disgusting piece of shit who are racist and prejudiced against people and are okay with innocent people being killed, slaughtered, burned alive, babies cut off of their heads. And yeah, you remember my last clip.
The baby head and cut his head.
How many Palestinians have you killed?
I told you, 13.
How long were you in Gaza?
82 days. Listen, you cocksucker motherfucker. Now listen me carefully, okay?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay? Do you know how much it take to take off this vest and clean on the Palestinian baby's blood? I killed like this, you know. Like he took a baby head and cut his head.
The vast majority of Americans stand behind you. They stand behind Israel.
Cut his head.
Those are your people, you pro-genocide freaks. And yeah. So I've known that they do this to children for a while. A lot of us have. But the evidence that came out is undeniably, inescapably obvious of what they're doing. Give me a second. I think this thing popped out when I was having a little fit, a little emotional thing. So, I'm trying to keep it together. I'm sorry. It is late, but I really want to get this out there. Let's check out this clip from Quinn.
40 beheaded babies. After October 7th, this was the first lie that Israel told. Now it's been proven, of course, over and over and over again. It never happened. They just made it up. But the world was outraged over 40 beheaded babies and supported Israel's genocide of tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians because 40 beheaded babies. No evidence of that ever, and now that has been widely debunked. And yet, they continue to claim that the Palestinian people are all Hamas and that they're all guilty and that they've all participated in beheading 40 babies. Now, this morning, we have footage from Rafah of Israel dropping 2,000-pound bombs on a civilian population and massacring people. And what do we have video of? Beheaded Palestinian babies. A father carrying his child with no head. Literal video evidence of Israel beheading babies. Where's the outrage, world? Where is the outrage now? It's okay to behead babies because they're Palestinian? Is that where we are? You know, we're all drawing a line where we stand in this genocide. We're all drawing a line. Everybody knows about this now all around the world, and we're drawing a line. You are either absolutely against the genocidal Israelis and you stand with the Palestinian people who are being slaughtered, okay? That's your line. Or you are with Israel and its right to defend itself, right? Or you just don't fucking care. But either way, when this hits the history books, you will clearly be defined. You will clearly have to answer to your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren where your line was. I stand with Palestine. Where do you stand? 40 beheaded babies. Fucking liars. Fucking liars from the beginning.
Liars always. He put it very more eloquently than I, but so many of us are on the same page because when you see the truth, there's only one page. Oh, man. What's it going to take? Like, I know people care, have feelings. Is it selective empathy? Like, can we feel compassion for another person's suffering? Or do they have to meet certain requirements so you do care for another human being? As Americans, this should be like our major concern because this is where all our hard-earned money is going. This is where our politicians campaign so strongly for the state of Israel. As each day passes, I see that our politicians they really enjoy this investment in Israel, and it's been known that they get money from AIPAC and all these lobbies for a while, especially now it's out in the open, and it's this violent system. It's like America will give billions of dollars over to this apartheid terrorist state, Israel. And the lobbyists there and here will give millions to the politician and politicians who help continue that cycle. And then, so you get a clump of money from America, all our hard-earned tax, all our hard-earned money gets taxed and gets in this clump, and they give that to another country, and then a little bit of that gets to the politicians, enough for them to be extra Gucci, of course, and then that gets wasted in here where they rebuild over homes and the blood and bones of innocent men, women, and children that originally belonged there. We'll get into that. And just build their little racist utopia. And we're here again. The only thing that comes back is the APAC money and lobbyist money, the Kufi money to the politicians, and they generate more money from the American people to go over there, and then a little bit to the politicians. They're sucking America dry, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats are in on it. The Republicans are in on it. They're the same team. They're the same Pokemon game. Just come out in Sun and Moon, Silver, Gold, whatever. It's the same team. And then the third party just gets ignored because what? That's throwing your vote away. Who cares? Like if Trump wins, he's going to give them what he's going to do to help them. Trump is going to help them just as much as Biden is. They're just going to help differently. And I've gone over this in my show before, so I'll keep this brief. Biden will give them as much as they want, military stuff, whatever. And he doesn't even blink an eye, you know? Trump, on the other hand, I think he would reserve what he helps them with. I mean, he did help them move powers with Jerusalem and all that crap. And he will fund them too. But probably I don't think he would fund them as much because I think Trump is smarter with his money. But he's still going to support them. What Trump will do, what his skill set is to build this wall. Trump will like to build this wall not to keep illegals out. You see, they use the Democrats to help illegals get in and whatever. The Republicans will build the wall with the idea to keep them out, but it's actually to keep us in. By the time all enough people are in here and they build the walls, and after they suck enough money from Americans to give over to the terrorist state of Israel, we will be that third world type of Gaza 2.0 eventually. And they'll continue sucking money over there because Netanyahu said he would. What's the quote he said? Let me bring it up. It's such a heartwarming quote from Milkowski. Mr. Milkowski here. Let's see. Where's my... I posted it like a champ, you know what I mean? Wait, did they take it down? No. They've taken some of my other stuff down. Has it been that long since I posted it? No. Did they take it down? Oh, no, they left it up. They've taken like 3 of my posts down. Stuff that proved what they were promoting. Okay, here we go. Benjamin Milkowski, who goes by Netanyahu, he said, once we squeeze all we can out of the United States, it can dry up and blow away. He doesn't really care about America. He doesn't really care about Americans. Politicians care because they're the ones getting the millions of dollars. If you got millions of dollars just to direct your business a certain direction and you still get paid from America to do your job, that's a certain bonus. I could see why all these American sellouts, I'm going to call them American sellouts because they're selling out hardworking Americans, free living Americans, free thinking Americans. They're selling us all out to another country. And for long-term plans, everything's long-term. See, right now, because Milkowski told Biden to prepare for a 10-year war. I remember that. And that struck me as a very, very red flag. So I imagine they're looking into the long term. We'll also get into that. So long term, they'll just slowly build up stuff, get us angry or riled up, choose one side or the other, but they still always win, and it's at our expense. So the more of us that wisen up, see, that's why they're really cracking hard on us who are for the freedom of other people, for freedom of everybody, for the freedom of Palestine, because that's what exposes them. When you catch up and know what I know and know what everybody else has been knowing for 76 years, you will see through the veil. You'll see the wizard behind the curtains, and that scares the shit out of the people in power, because they stay in power because of your ignorance and your blind support and devotion with whatever cookie cutter pretty bullshit they've sold you that you bought and ate up. So let's hear what our John Kirby, here's what he has to say to the whole stuff, and pay attention to everything we have seen and known.
Advocates believe that the U.S. doesn't want to see a major ground operation in Rafah, but Israeli tanks just moved into central Rafah. How is that not a major military operation?
Well, again, I don't want to talk about Israeli Defense Force operations, but my understanding is, and I believe the Israelis have spoken to this, that they are moving along something called the Philadelphia Corridor, which is on the outskirts of the town, not in the town proper. That's what the Israelis have said. We're not on the ground. Gabe, we're not there. I mean, you know, we don't have troops that can look at every single soldier and where they are. We're going based on what the Israelis are telling us and what they're saying publicly and what we're able to discern as best we can. As you and I speak here today, we have not seen a major ground operation. And these tanks are moving along a corridor that they have told us previously that they would use on the outskirts of the town to try to put pressure on Hamas.
NBC's crew in Gaza has described it as being central Rafah. If it were to be central Rafah, would that be considered a major?
A single tank? A single tank with a dozen or so guys? And I mean, we're talking about, you know, you're dragging me into a hypothetical, and I hate that, but one tank, one armored vehicle does not constitute a major ground operation. Now, I'm not saying that that's what's going on right now. What I'm telling you is what the Israelis have told us about what they're doing. They tell us on the outskirts. A major ground operation is, you know, thousands and thousands of troops moving in a maneuvered, concentrated, coordinated way against a variety of targets on the ground. The kinds of things we've seen, we've done ourselves. That's what we're talking about here.
And then one last thing on a strike today, at least 21 people killed in a strike that hit a tent encampment in southern Gaza today. What's the U.S. response to that?
We can't verify those reports. The Israelis are saying publicly that there was no such strike. So I'd point.
There was no such strike. Wow, he ended on a lie, or that clip did. So this is crazy because he does this thing where he tells you quick that he won't answer a certain aspect of the real meat of the question, and then he beats around the bush a lot. So according to him, when President Biden said, don't go into Rafah, apparently it meant a certain area of Rafah you can't go into, but other areas of Rafah you can go into. If you have tanks along a certain area, you're not really there, but you're there, it's okay. Because apparently the definition meant like if you're really in there and you're there, you got a certain amount of people and it's organized and, you know, then we're in trouble. Or then they're in trouble for going up against Biden. But if they go around, you know, the area, they're okay, apparently. And they're hitting them with missiles, so you just need to be as close as possible. You could be far and still hit them with missiles. That's what they've been doing for 8 months. Oh, my God. And isn't that crazy? So, according to John Kirby, by the new weird definition of what President Biden meant, they can go into Rafah. They just can't go into Rafah Central, left side, East Coast section. I don't know. So yeah, it's like this map that they draw in their mind, you know, just like the IOF soldiers draw invisible lines that are kill zones that the Palestinians don't know. But if they walk in, they'll shoot them and kill them. You know, it's the same logic. And here's another one.
How does this not violate the red line that the president laid out?
As I said, we don't want to see a major ground operation. We haven't seen that at this point.
How many more charred corpses does he have to see before the president considers a change in policy?
We don't want to see a single more innocent life taken. And I kind of take a little offense at the question. No civilian casualties is the right number of civilian casualties. And this is not something that we've turned a blind eye to, nor has it been something we've ignored or neglected to raise with our Israeli counterparts, including, Ed, this weekend as a result of this particular strike. Now, they're investigating it, so let's let them investigate it and see what they come up with.
But the president doesn't have like a personal limit to this?
The president has been very clear and very direct about what our expectations are for Israeli operations in Rafah specifically, but in Gaza writ large. We don't support, we won't support a major ground operation in Rafah, and we've, again, been very consistent on that. And the president said that should that occur, then it might make him have to make different decisions in terms of support. We haven't seen that happen at this point.
Why not have him come out and say that himself?
The president has been speaking to leaders throughout the region on a regular basis. He has been addressing you guys in various fora. You've got plenty of opportunities to talk to the president, including, I might add, in a press conference last week.
So yeah, these are all clips from this weekend and stuff I'm gathered together for this presentation because these are key things I want to focus on because as you heard right there, a lot of okay, John Kirby has this weird, scummy used car salesman look. When he gets irritated and lies, his cheeks go up and he goes this very like he still keeps a smile, but there's part of it's disgusting. So apparently, according to Mr. John Kirby here, all America has been doing is trusting the Israeli government to carry out their investigations and get back to them. How many times have we heard that? So many times. I can't even count on my own fingers and toes how many times. And we never hear the results or the findings of these investigations. We never do. We just hear that, oh, we're having an investigation or we're talking with them. We want them to limit it. You know, no civilian lives should be lost. And, you know, we have 40,000 lives lost, people. And counting, not the 70,000 injured. One of the doctors said another thing is the people trapped under the rubble. Many of them aren't dead because they could still hear them. And they're trying to get to them, but they can't. They don't have the resources. A lot of them have just their bare hands. So the great American government for truth, justice, democracy, freedom, equal rights. And we're such a strong power. We don't know what's going on apparently, and we're just going to trust them to do their investigation. And the best thing that American politicians here are doing apparently is just being very clear of what they say, of what to do and what you shouldn't do. But as the whole world issuing at the ICJ, trying to issue arrest warrants or tell them not to do it, the government Israel will do exactly what they will see fit to doing, no matter who tells them what. So I really don't know what John Kirby is talking about when he's saying all these things of like, we're going to trust him to do the investigation. We said do this. Here's a clear line. Oh, this is hypothetical. All this BS. Because he's in on it, yo. Because to do all that is horrible. And not just that, but let's backtrack a little bit further. Do you guys remember what our government said with making a threat if the Benjamin Netanyahu is arrested along with his other people?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, so Anthony Blinken said, we have to oppose Palestinian statehood or else the World Food Program.
Oh my gosh, Palestinian statehood, not just arrest, but if you give Palestinian statehood, That was a problem. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so Anthony Blinken said we have to oppose Palestinian statehood, or else the World Food Program budget will be cut and people will starve around the world. Like, that's the Secretary of State's assessment that he's making to you guys in this meeting?
The example was given that if the UN had to cut its funding, it would have to cut programs like the World Food Program. And that was the example shared, followed by the explanation that then the world would have to starve as the Gazans are. And so that is not the comparison you make to make an argument for why Palestinians should not have a free state.
So yeah, remember it was we invade Hague if the arrest warrants came out. And apparently, us Americans will let the world starve if Palestine gets its own statehood. Wow. It's so much stuff has come out. So crazy. Like, when Israel kills civilians, it's complicated and they need to launch an investigation or hear back from an investigation or recommend certain things. But as soon as something definitive happens for these war criminals to face the repercussions of their actions, like arrest warrants, and or to do the right thing, which is to give a Palestinian state, then all of a sudden they know exactly what to do. And what they do is threatening, it's bullying, and it's demeaning and saying that they're worthless. And I'm like, why is this dedication towards this terrorist state? Like, what's so good about them? Like, in comparison of what they do to other human beings. Check out this graph here. I got this from, I didn't make this, I got it from Instagram. You can see my posts. Follow me on Instagram so you can see a lot of this stuff. And it's good cliff notes to help you with your homework and awareness and what's going on. Otherwise, you're just going to be ignorant and let people kill people. So this is the amount of hostages being held. This is as of May 2024. The sources are below on this thing. So there's approximately 3,424 Palestinian hostages held by Israel, and there's 132 hostages held by Hamas. So if you were to scale of who's and any one hostage is bad, I don't like this situation. And it's been done before, I think 2022 and some other years before. Could be wrong on the dates, but there has been hostage exchanges where Hamas will get hostages from Israel, however way they do, and they will force a hostage exchange in order to save and release Palestinians and release the Israeli hostages. That's why they also take such good care of them, because they need them alive to save the innocent Palestinian people, and they are actually have a code and they're against hurting innocent people. Interesting, huh? Did you know that? You should know who you claim to hate or are up against. Know your enemy, right? And or maybe you don't want to, you just need to figure out they're the enemy, and then everything's all black and white. There's no gray areas. But anyways, if you were to scale the amount of wrongness done by either, just argument's sake, either terrorist organization, Israel always wins. Is another graph done by the Muslim Skeptic, like their account. So who are the real terrorists? Who snipes women and children? IDF does, not Hamas. Who bombs hospitals? I'll let you read. You can see. Who bombs refugee camps? Who tortures prisoners? Who uses mass starvation? And I just played a clip of who threatened the world with mass starvation. It's pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Pelham. I took this from them. His real name is Benjamin Milkowski. He's from Poland. We all knew this. I honestly didn't know his, or I forgot his last name was Milkowski. Malkowski. Like he's like some failed Simpsons character they didn't use because he was so whack. Yep, he's a settler. So if you don't know, a lot of the Israeli people who are there are settlers who claimed to be Jewish, or they are Jewish. You know, Jewish people are everywhere in the world, and you know, from Iraq and whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is when you steal, kill, claim, lie. You know what I mean? And that's disgusting. So those people are the most violent. So with everything going on in Rafah, the burning, they say it's an investigation, it's an accident, but you've seen people celebrate it. And I showed you people celebrating it. Not only that, but look at this. Oh, so President Biden said, don't go into Rafah. So I guess they're just hanging out around Rafah and going into it with their weapons, their bullets. Well, we know it's the missiles. And they do it from a distance and take a cute little selfie to send back home. Oh, isn't that nice? Look at it. All those civilians burning in the background. Picture of Rafah. And yeah, that's a lot of sarcasm, by the way. Oof. One thing I can't understand is the loyalty to this terrorist state, Israel. And since it was Memorial Day, I did get a clip for Memorial Day in a way to illustrate how effed up they are, even to America physically.
And they shot the ones that were still on board the ship. Bullet holes, shell holes everywhere, blood. The forecastle, the front part of the ship, was just red with blood.
Throughout the attack, the ship flies the Stars and Stripes, the flag of Israel's closest ally, the United States of America. Its name, the USS Liberty, is freshly painted on its stern, and the bow carries the distinctive numbers of an American naval vessel.
Out of a crew of just under 300, there were 34 killed and 172 injured in varying degrees to life-threatening, life-debilitating injuries. So that was more than 2/3 of the crew.
This audio tape, which has never been broadcast before, was recorded in real time by the Israeli military during the assault. The woman's voice in the background is counting down the seconds. It proves that Israeli commanders knew all along that they were attacking an American ship.
Follow Al Jazeera. I'll put all links as soon as I can. You know how I do. They covered a lot of good stuff there. And even here, there was a report of a kid who ran over a cop. And they found out the kid was Israeli. And certain things happened behind the scenes. And he got to get the charges dropped and go home free. I know people who look like me don't get that treatment. If we do, we're going to jail for life for a while. And there's this weird freebie they give them. Why? I don't know why. There's a devotion there. And this is also recent too.
Tonight, we celebrate more than just 76 years of achievement. We celebrate the fulfillment of promises made millennia ago. Promises made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Promises that survived Babylonian exile, Islamic caliphates, and the Nazi Holocaust. Through the hard work of men like Theodore Herzl, the Zionist dream has become a reality. And tonight, we gather as Christians and Jews and people of all faiths. We gather as those committed to belief that the Jewish people deserve to live safely in their ancestral and spiritual homeland. My friends, we are bound by the same foundational beliefs. We're strung together by the same psalms, and we celebrate together the unique Judeo-Christian heritage of our own republic, this grand experiment in self-governance, this one nation under God.
So let me get this straight. We have freedom to practice religion here, right? It seems like there's this shift that's been going on for a while, and a lot of times we put the blame to. I didn't make that graphic, by the way. I got that from Instagram. I showed it so you could see the content creator. No disrespect. I'm just trying to get stuff out there. So we are like with another country or for another country, or another country runs America for another country's idealistic dream of Zionism that's 150 years old. I thought Scientology was toxic. Dang. It's crazy, this dedication towards this, you know? It's very violent because it requires blood and violence to get there, and it just doesn't seem right. It's so disgusting and so blatant in your face that are people that racist or prejudiced to not notice? Is this like what what churches teach? Is this God's children, chosen people, going against God to mass murder people, steal, and bear false witness of their neighbor? It's so stressful and horrible and so out there in your face. It's like merciless. Ugh. And then we have like a little spotlight on Nikki Haley here. And she was recently in Israel making a speech. I think she really wants to go up there with Trump. But she was seen doing a little tradition, which is signing the bombs that get shot at civilian targets. We've known this for a while, but she takes part in it. Some other influencers or some celebrities in the area have done that too, but Nikki Haley, this representative of America, writes on a missile that's to go to civilians. She writes, "Finish them. America loves Israel always." Nikki Haley. This is like a yearbook or something of death. So here's a proud American of killing people. And like I said, whatever way you go, it's going to be one of these guys if you think that's the only options you have. And I don't think you do. We have a third party. I think we got rock the vote. I'm going for Cornel West. He's got my vote. You vote however you feel, but just know that if you go blue or red, you're voting for the same APAC team. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. Oh man, it's the way they treat children as prisoners. You know, there's a nation that tries children in military courts, use children as human shields. They even have their concentration camps where people are tied up, blindfolded, and just in a cage. And this is the most moral army, right? Wow. There's so much of this out there. It's like I'm just like getting a little bit from what I have from this weekend, and it's horrible. It's horrible. And it's always been. Now, this whole religious thing. It's a lie. And it's just see what these hate groups, what they like to do, they like to latch on something that is fundamentally and popularly known as being good, like believing in God. And there's many holy books that or there's several holy books that promote goodness in God. And some people take identification and with a part of it, and they use it as justification for doing everything that God tells you not to do, which is kill people, steal, lie, bear false witness, and abuse, all this horrible stuff that really entertains the devil. And there's been a big plan for a while. And I got this clip from an old IDF soldier.
Eventually, our borders will extend from Lebanon to the Great Desert, which is Saudi Arabia, and then from the Mediterranean to the Euphrates. And who's on the other side of the Euphrates? The Kurds. And the Kurds are our friends. So we have the Mediterranean behind us, the Kurds in front of us, Lebanon, which really needs the umbrella of protection of Israel. And then we're going to take, I believe we're going to take Mecca, Medina, and Mount Sinai and purify those places.
You know, it's...
Purify those places. Purify those places. You know, there's a show I love called Krypton. And there's this thing where every Kryptonian, this alien species that look like human but have different traits, they were made genetically. And so this device called the Codex had the genetic code of pretty much just any human being you want to make. You just get some DNA sample of the two other human beings and you make a child. But if someone had control of it, they could purify the Codex to output only one demographic of people. So pretty much you could, if you had control of society, of who gets to exist in the world, and you pick only one demographic over another, it's like you don't have to do genocide. You just chose to have the only people exist, the people that you like and want to exist, and then the ones you don't like, the demographic you don't like, never exists at all. So that's purification, really. Purification is genocide, because when they purify, it's because they don't like a group of people, a culture, and they wipe them out and replace it with who they think should be in their place. So I've seen this map of the Great Israel, as I've heard it called from Israelis. That is the main dream. And I don't think they could do that unless they get all of Palestine turned into Israel. And I've seen other videos like this. It's just the recent one I could get to share with y'all. And it's a lot of BS. And they're not even the not natural, but they're not even the ancestors of the land. They found out that the Palestinian people are actually the descendants of the old Hebrew people who were there, or the here, I'll just play a clip for you.
Jews did not appear out of thin air. Jews are indigenous to the states of Israel, to Judea. That's the original name of our land. Archaeologically, scientifically, genetically, historically, linguistically speaking.
Let's debunk this using the Torah and Bible. Genesis 12:1. God tells Abraham to leave his native land, modern-day Iraq, and go to the Promised Land, modern-day occupied Palestine. Genesis 12:4 to 12:6. Abraham goes to the Promised Land, land of Canaan, and it's mentioned the Canaanites were there, inhabiting the land. Canaanites are the oldest known inhabitants of this land. Even the Torah recognizes this. The Canaanites were not Jewish or followers of any Abrahamic faith. Jewish control was over 2,000 years ago, and only lasted about 400 years. Palestinians still practice various art forms of their Canaanite ancestors, the oldest known inhabitants of the land. These Canaanite star artifacts are from thousands of years ago. The same 8-point Canaanite star is seen in traditional Palestinian dresses, which are only worn by Palestinians. Palestinian embroidery, also known as tatris, is an ancient embroidery technique that dates back to the Canaanite era. These are ancient Canaanite headdresses shown on ancient artifacts. These are Palestinian women with a headdress similar to their Canaanite ancestors. This is how the ancient Egyptians depicted Canaanites, tatris-like pattern on their clothes. The origins of the traditional Palestinian dance can be traced back to ancient Canaanite fertility rituals related to agriculture.
Yep. There you go. The Canaanites are the Palestinians, the original people of the land. And then you have a settler from New York who converted to Judaism, but actually Zionism, is a settler there and saying, this is my land, not yours. And they displace, kill, take the home, kill Palestinians and take their homes. Been seeing it for a while. I was ignorant for a while. I see the truth now, and I'm not going to stop saying the truth and all that. So we're getting close to the ending hour. I have a lot of stuff to show. Hopefully this can all be presented in its full form. I'm doing my best after midnight here. I really don't know what it's going to take to get you all to care. I mean, I'm not a guy who's very in your face, forcing you to think what I think. I don't think that's right, because I care about people's sincerity, and the truth is out there. It's not hard to find people. All you have to do is just read. You have to look. You have to see. I hope you can feel. At this point, I don't know if people have compassion anymore. People are just numb, or people don't give a crap. And I compare what's going on in Gaza to be like a massive, massive school shooting nightmare. And those things are the most horrible things I could think of before this genocide happened, this Nakba 2. And our government's lying. They're stalling, giving Israel time. They're protecting them so they could finish the slaughter of all the Palestinians there. And then they could rebuild, get the precious gas and oil that's there. They can make their little racist utopia. And then once they establish that, they'll just claim the neighboring areas are a threat to Israel, and they'll wage war on them just to protect Israel. All this projection. And if anything, this violence and genocide going on is an answer for them to get all their way. If they could like use this to provoke people to go to battle with them, then they'll have their war, and then they'll feel like, okay, now we have war, now we could write the rules. Essentially, the excuse of having a war gives certain governments like this that are selfish, racist, and maniacal, bloodthirsty with power an excuse to do what they want under the blanket of, oh, it's war. Shit happens. Accept it. No. Wars are freaking awful. People die. The fact that you understand that we all know that, doesn't give an excuse to be reckless and follow your genocidal, cultish beliefs on humanity. It's like ever since they wanted to declare this war on Hamas, but then they have their own twisted definition of who that is, and it's every single Palestinian. But as soon as they're under the microscope of, hey, you're going too far, then they backpedal and act all weird. And then something happens to distract Americans in America or wherever, where they think we don't care. We have a short attention span, because the next day they do the same damn thing all over again. Different methods, same stick goals. More Palestinians dying. And we have the actual crimes going on of beheading babies, killing innocent civilians, slaughtering them, It's actually happening, as opposed to the lies on October 7th of what happened and who did what. You all were able to go crazy and bloodthirsty over lies, yet when the truth is here, you can't. Is this an ego thing? You're like, I can't be wrong. Oh, I can't make a mistake. Oh. People are dying. I don't give a crap who's wrong or right. I give a crap if you're a piece of shit or if you're a good human being. That's where it's at right now. You either are against genocide and you want freedom for everybody and no war crimes, no innocent human life, man, woman, or child killed, slaughtered. You want that to stop, and you're against all that violence on anyone. No genocide on anyone. People have a right to be free. People should not be punished for stuff they didn't do. Collective punishment is wrong. Illegal weapons is wrong. Bombing and killing civilians is wrong. Cutting off heads of babies is wrong. All this stuff that's wrong, Israel is doing on our dollar. What the fuck are you saying? What the fuck are you doing? So you're that side, or you're on the side when all that's good. Then you're okay with all that, and or you don't care, or it's justified in your mind, or they have a right to die like that. Then you're just a piece of shit. So it's one of the two. You're either a human being or you're a piece of shit at this point. I don't know what else to say, but yeah. I have to do a lot of prayers. And I'm not going to stop trying to help, because every hour that goes by, I know people are dying. And I know certain people are lying. And I know who's trying. And I know who's not. So I'm going to keep voicing what's going on, sharing my opinion, trying to help. I'm going to keep peacefully protesting. Like I said, I don't go in people's faces. I'm not going to force people to care. I don't know how to do that. I don't have any right to tell people how to care. I can only just express myself, share, do something in my space right here where I could be totally blatantly honest and just try to help. We had a protest on Memorial Day. Some people went onto the 101 freeway to stall traffic. And I was a little bitch. I was on the side. I'm not breaking laws, but I also don't feel comfortable with those being on the road and all that. But people who did went on there were brave and awesome. It was the Lesbians for Free Palestine, that group, and then another group was organizing it. So we were just all around waving the flags and all that. But you know what? It did good because it got a report on local news that showed scenes of Rafah. Now, I don't know what's the right way to do things as far as actually, no, I do. You can't hurt people. You can't do vandalism. You can't disrupt people's well-being and safety. Never do that. No, I'm not for that. I don't like that. But making a scene that hurts nobody, there's nothing wrong with that. This is like something we have to care about because our whole livelihood, our whole future of this country depends on what goes on with this slaughter, because there's a battle of what's the right thing to do and what's the wrong thing to do. And the wrong thing going on right now is what's being funded and promoted and pushed. And I don't like it. We shouldn't be for a Holocaust. The Holocaust that happened in World War II was horrible. And a lot of people didn't know what was going on until after the war ended. We're seeing a Holocaust in real time. And what the fuck are you doing about it? Whatever you're doing it right now. And I'm going to try and stop it. As the pacifist and the humanitarian I strive to be and what I believe in, and as an American, with my freedom of speech and right to protest, I'm going to do everything I can to save lives. And if we can free Palestine, that can free America from being under the reins and control of another government, another country. Isn't that what you conservatives always say? America can't be ruled or undermined by another country. Well, guess what? It already happened. Wake the fuck up. Or just be a bitch. I say that non-gender specific. So man up, woman up, do the right thing, and find Mo Hamz. I'll put a link to his channel. He puts it the best way possible. And I just don't know what to do anymore. But or any more I can do. Actually, I have a few creative ideas as an artist. I think I'll do that. That's my strength. I'll use my art to speak up, and I'll keep on peacefully protesting. Ladies and gentlemen, don't hurt anybody. I think people will continue to come at us with violence and negativity and scrutiny and slander. The Zionists always do. That's our way. That's our motto. That's what they believe in. We can't stoop to their levels. I don't think so. We have to be more creative, more loud, and yeah. I forgot where it was. I'm sharing all these posts. I should share this one. But one post or a message came from people in Gaza was to whatever we're doing, and this is in response to the civilians being burnt and the children's bodies being mutilated by Israel. The message was, whatever you're doing with protests and getting the word out, double it or intensify it. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to keep trying creatively as an artist and as a content creator, voicing it up. Just like Snyder Cut. I try to get people to be passionate about artistic integrity. Get this film out. And then there's a good message behind mental health. This is beyond mental health, and people are dying. And if we could do the impossible then, I believe we can do the impossible now and save as many lives as possible with awareness, education, communication, peaceful protests. People, let's go. I'm at wit's end. But yeah, we'll end it with Mo Hamz right here. I'll provide link. Have a good Wednesday. I'll talk to you guys again. I don't know when. But yeah, be good to each other, good to yourselves. Stand up for what's right. Stand for free Palestine. And if you don't know, you got to do your homework right now. You should watch my videos. Check me out on Instagram, the stuff I've posted. Do your homework. There's plenty of breadcrumbs to follow the truth. And it's very close because it's been here for a while, the truth. You just got to get out over the shroud. It's just as easy as taking that off and going forward and go, oh, that's what's happening. Oh, my God. And if it doesn't faze you, then, like I said, you're just a piece of shit. And so, yeah. God bless and God help us all.
Hey, Biden, where are you at? Hey, Blinken, where are you at? Hey, Western leaders, where are you at? Hey, Sky News, Associated Press, CNN, BBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, fucking XYZ. Where are you at? Israel fed you lies on beheaded babies, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies about rape, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies through repurposed propaganda videos filled with false Arabic translations, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Israel fed you lies about 1,400 killed Israeli civilians, and within milliseconds, you ran with it. Every single one of these has been proven false by even the Israeli media. And many of you piece of shit politicians, including our satanic president, still spew these lies that have been debunked since 8 months ago. And not only that, you still continue your atrocity propaganda until this day, as if there's any fucking narrative left for you to save in their most blatantly and overtly in-your-face, Nazi-like evil regime. Look at this hell on earth that is Rafah from today. It has been a hell on earth every damn day for the past 8 months, but today exceeded it all, where Israel went literal scorched earth in retaliation to their being ostracized as a pariah by the entire international community. Just when you think they couldn't get any lower, they set a new standard of low, and that low is all the way in the depths of hell. We literally just witnessed real decapitated Palestinian babies. We literally just witnessed real Palestinian babies burned to a fucking crisp. We have physical, photographic, and video evidence coupled with IOF videos and Zionist messages gloating about this massacre that even Israeli news media confirmed happened. This is what they do. With every condemnation comes a retaliatory onslaught on the innocent Palestinian civilian population, times a millionfold. A vengeful, bloodthirsty, psychopathic bully trying to exact the most painful revenge because the whole world hates them. It's a runaway rogue train without any brakes, and all the Western countries and news media are on board. There is literal video evidence of rogue IOF soldiers calling for a military coup if the government tries to stop the continued genocide of the Palestinian people. There are committed soldiers ready to go against all orders in order to surround Gaza and continue the murdering. And to supplement this evidence, we have active Israeli government officials currently calling for the mass forced displacement and illegal settlement through land theft of Gaza after all is said and done. And what happens with all of this news out in the open? With evidence of beheaded and burned Palestinian babies? Fucking crickets! Complete silence from our Western news media. Complete silence from our U.S. government. The only sound chirping is the Israeli government scrambling, trying to put out more propaganda, saying it was faulty Hamas missiles that hit this refugee camp filled with thousands of Palestinians, predominantly women and children, sheltering in tents. In tents! They even had the audacity to reference these airstrikes as faulty Hamas missiles, similar to the faulty missiles that hit the hospital back in the beginning of this shit show. You know well before Israel bombed the rest of the fucking hospitals in all of Gaza. So let me scream this again. We have clear footage of beheaded and burned Palestinian babies from today. Where the fuck is the outrage? Where the fuck is your spreading like wildfire news coverage of this? You still filtering the footage you want to air through the Israeli government and IOF, you disgusting cowards? You getting your Memorial Day barbecuing on while Israel is fucking barbecuing children? Don't you want to be the first to break the story? Huh? Isn't that what you pride yourselves on? Being the first to tell a true breaking story with a plethora of evidence? No, that doesn't apply for the Palestinians, huh? You vile racists. You journalistic malpracticing genocidal fuel to the fire assholes. Those real beheaded babies and burned babies are on you. Every single one of you. And I don't give a shit what anyone does to me at this point anymore. Dox me, fire me, don't hire me. I could care less what you put me through. Because I know that every fucking ounce of my anger right now is not only justified, but absolutely necessary to topple your evil empires and make every single one of you Zionist pieces of shit look like the scum that you are. And I will say this directly on camera. Israel must be dismantled in every single way possible. And to those of you that say, Mo, you'd get your point across way better if you weren't so angry with all the yelling and profanity, I respectfully say you can go kick rocks. Because if I were the one holding up one of my children up in the air, burnt and beheaded, I'd want you louder, angrier, and more profane than I am right now. Because there's no other option with all that we've witnessed thus far. So let's see how you guys report on this in the next 24 hours. Will you disgusting creatures of habit eat up the standard propaganda? Or will you finally flip the script and flip the fucking table on Israel and their puppet government of the United States? You think we're just going to sit there and watch not only our people as a whole get wiped off the map, but more specifically, our children get strategically targeted, tortured, and massacred?
You think we're just going to see all of this while you help them do all of this and do nothing? And listen to what I'm about to tell you. You think we're disruptive now? Just you fucking wait. Us Palestinian diaspora living in the Western world have always felt like we've been living in the belly of the beast, filled with racism, dehumanization, hate, and corruption. But I want you all to know that we've eaten our way out of that belly, and we have become the beasts that are going to swallow all of you up whole. And we are not a beast to be fucked with. Mark my words.